This week on the show, I'm in northern Spain.
I look ready, I feel ready, I'm ready.
Taking to space. Kind of. And spending a night on Mars.
Right now, we can resemble all the conditions that we're going to find on planet Mars, right here on planet Earth.
Chinese New Year is fast approaching. We have some travel tips for you.
This water is cold. My face is so numb.
Welcome in Iceland.
And Katmo's taking an icy dip between the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates.
It's so clear down here. It's amazing. The colours totally pop.
No one would have believed in the last years of the 19th century that this world was being watched keenly and closely by intelligences greater than man's.
Since H.G. Wells wrote of the Martian invasion in his 1897 novel War of the Worlds, the Red Planet has captured our imaginations. At over 33 million miles away, it's incredible to think we could one day colonize Mars. This year, Virgin Galactic's first customers hope to head into space in a 90-minute suborbital flight for a cool $250,000. But if you don't have that in the bank but still harbour dreams of being a space explorer, there are options out there here on Earth. So for the next 24 hours, I'll be learning how to live life like a Mars colonist in Spain. Astroland is a project set up to see how humans would potentially cope living on Mars from a psychological perspective, but to also test out potential technologies.
You're going to Mars. Your emotions are going to kick in. You will feel joy.
As part of the training before going in, we're briefed on how we might feel on Mars as a colonist to get us into the right mindset. So clearly this is not a space shuttle, but Mars, for the purpose of this exercise, is going to be in a remote cave in Arredondo. And I have a feeling my sci-fi fantasies are about to become unlocked. The idea is to simulate how hard it will be to survive on another planet, with the barest of tools. This particular expedition is just for the night and is geared towards scientists who will be doing experiments as if they're on the Red Planet. Wow. Oh my God. Down we go. But before any exploration, the team need to change. So this is the bit I've actually been waiting for, my very own spacesuit, although it's a lot thinner than I thought. I thought it was going to be like this giant spacesuit that I was going to find a little bit unwieldy, but I think I can handle that. In fact, I think I've got an outfit like this.
Hey, I look ready, I feel ready, I'm ready.
Just one final touch.
I'm ready for my ascent into Martian land. I'm a little bit scared too. Hold this.
Our aim is to get to Ares, our base, where we will be spending the night. It's anticipated that the first colonists to Mars will also have to live underground in caves or lava tubes to avoid interstellar radiation. And there's no time to waste on the experiments.
Okay, so I'm collecting some samples of the water that's trickling from above. It's really quite cool.
Es la primera vez que encontramos esto aquí.
So the guys have just made quite an interesting discovery. They discovered a rock showing signs of photosynthesis, which is strange because there's no light down here. So this is a pretty incredible breakthrough for these guys.
Finally, we make it to Ares. And it's a bit of a squeeze in the decompression chamber. But the team are immediately analysing their samples. We're going to find out if the water we collected earlier has got any signs of bacteria, basically any signs of life living inside it. In a previous expedition, they actually discovered a new species of amoeba.
The important thing here is you have a cave, which is huge
Yes.
and very special, and you have the capacity to analyze some of the things inside the cave.
And what are you hoping to achieve by collecting samples from down here? You know, there's so...
New species, basically. But I think here you can learn many things about exploration in difficult parts of the Earth and in other parts of the solar system, for example.
We have a table. The pod is set up with everything to meet your basic needs. And after all that work, it's time for dinner. Couscous with chicken, wild berry yogurt. They all sound the same. I'm going for one of my favourite dishes, bolognese. The water's in, give it a stir, leave for 10 minutes. It looks a little bit like plastic. But I'm so hungry. That is actually quite nice. Whilst the others finish up dinner, I sneak out to find out more about the project. Also, any excuse to get suited up. I feel like I'm in a completely different world being in here. I mean, how big is this cave? I mean, it's pretty deep.
Sitting here, right by the dome, by the space station, by the Ares station, we are hardly 1/3 of its actual size. It is so big that it actually resembles the giant lava tubes that we could find, that we are going to find on Mars. Human beings will inhabit Mars is a fact.
Yeah.
The only thing we don't know right now is when it's going to happen. It could happen in 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Right now, we can resemble all the conditions that we're going to find on planet Mars and beneath planet Mars right here on planet Earth.
One of the goals is to extend the stays in the cave to see how people cope.
Very soon, we'll meet teams of scientists and engineers and people from all areas of knowledge and science, spending 1 month, several months, more than a year in this.
More than a year?
In this station.
Wow.
Yeah. When you're talking about isolating people for several months or more than 1 year, there are so many things that come in that will be so useful for future space exploration.
This experience isn't cheap. For non-scientists, it's about £5,000 for the 30-day experience, which includes preparation, training, and about 3 days in the cave. I mean Mars. NASA's original roadmap to expand human presence beyond Earth to Mars and further was tentatively set for 2033. But an independent report has come out saying this is unfeasible. So for the ultimate travel experience, you'll have to wait a little longer. So this is where I'm sleeping tonight. It's the top bunk of a bunk bed. Now, I've not been in the top bunk since I was about 8 years old, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually really excited about getting in the top bunk. I've got a sleeping bag, so it's like a really cool sci-fi sleepover with all my scientist buddies. Although I'm not sure what time they get up in the morning. I have a feeling it's going to be very, very, very early. In space, they say that you can't hear anyone scream, so in Astroland, I'm really hoping you can't hear anyone snore. Well, if spending a weekend on Mars in Spain doesn't quite take your fancy, but you're still interested in visiting, here are some other things we think are worth considering. Spain is one of the few countries in the world where you can ski in the morning and swim in the sea in the afternoon. The Sierra Nevada ski station just outside Granada is the most southern ski resort in Europe, but it's also the country's highest, with a season that lasts till early May. Plus, it's just a few hours' drive from the Mediterranean coast. This April, the World Dog Show is being hosted in the capital, Madrid. Organisers are expecting as many as 20,000 pooches to attend. The event is being hosted by the Spanish Royal Canine Society and is open to dog lovers, canine experts and breeders. And well, we can't miss out Spain's messiest festivals. La Tomatina takes place on the last Wednesday in August in Buñol, 40 kilometres west of Valencia. Thousands of people come to take part in a giant tomato fight. If you go, be prepared. Take goggles and expect your clothes to never recover. We warned you. Still to come, how to tackle Chinese New Year.
So what do you reckon the temperature of the water is today?
It's around 2-3 degrees Celsius.
And Katmos in Iceland swimming in glacial meltwater. So don't go away.
It's now time for Trending Travel, our regular pick of the top photos, videos, and stories all happening online this week.
Do you know who's Dutch and you're Netherlands from your Holland? You might not be the only one to be a bit confused. The Dutch government thought it was finally time to make things a bit easier and are ditching the name Holland this month. The famous orange color will remain, but from now on, the Netherlands will be the official name starting January. And at major events like the Eurovision Song Contest in Rotterdam this May and during the Olympic Games this summer. In one of Hanoi's most unique and popular tourist spots, authorities have banned large crowds and closed cafes on the city's popular Train Street. Every day, tourists head to the street to take pictures and experience the moment trains rush down the narrow street, just inches away from homes. But authorities are now clamping down on tourists and shop owners. Tourism pollution in Japan looks to be a growing problem with locals in 2020. Kyoto has led a ban on photography in parts of the city's main geisha neighborhood, amid a flurry of complaints about harassment and bad behavior by foreign tourists in the quest for the perfect selfie. The ban and fine are not legally binding, but local businesses hope the measure will convince some visitors to have more respect for the neighborhood and its more colorful residents. Plenty of apps these days have face filters and funny styles, but if you tried a selfie, the Sigmund Freud Museum has released the Selfie app and is asking you to not only keep his cultural legacy alive, but to support the urgent work needed to renovate the Sigmund Freud Museum in Vienna. They are hoping to raise 500,000 euros by the end of 2020. I wonder what the man himself would think of all of this. While some of us are getting over the Christmas blues and our New Year's headaches, in another part of the world, it will soon be the Lunar New Year. Officially beginning on January 25th, families across Southeast Asia will be reuniting in celebration. Chinese New Year is celebrated around the world by Chinese communities, so here is the trending guide to what to expect in the Year of the Rat.
2020 is the year of the rat, and those born in this year are said to be sharp, sensitive, yet stubborn. Not that many people believe that. What they do believe is that your own zodiac year brings about trouble and bad luck, which is why you'll see people born in the year of the rat wearing lots of red, an auspicious colour that's meant to ward off evil spirits and misfortune. Chinese New Year is all about family reunions. Traditionally, elderly grandparents saw their children and grandchildren come home for the all-important family dinner. This mad dash is also the reason behind the world's largest human migration, known as Chunyun, spring migration. Last year, around 3 billion trips were made during this festivity. But as China prospers, more and more people are choosing to go abroad for Chinese New Year, leaving grandparents less than pleased celebrating on their own. Red packets or hongbao are red envelopes filled with lucky money given to children at Chinese New Year. The greeting for Happy New Year is 新年快乐 in Chinese Mandarin.
Make sure to keep sending us your stories and your photos of the places you live and the places you love. Maybe next time, you'll be trending in travel.
Next up, Katmo is in Iceland at the Thingvellir National Park, taking an icy dip between two tectonic plates.
Bubbling, spluttering, and creeping. Iceland is a country alive, sat on a fault line between two tectonic plates and enduring brutal weather conditions. It's constantly being shaped by powerful natural forces. Which is why I've come to Thingvellir National Park, because here, back in the 18th century, earthquakes tore a rift in the valley and left behind what some say are the clearest waters in the world.
This one, you just look straight in front of you. You can just leave it like that 1 second.
So I'm joining a tour group to snorkel in what's called the Sulfra Fissure. Our group is so international, even our guide is Italian.
Now we are in the north part of the biggest natural lake in Iceland. Basically, we have two main reasons to be here. First of all, Silfra is the only place on Earth you can actually dive or do the snorkeling tour between two tectonic plates. As I show you guys, there at the cliff over there is the edge of the North American tectonic plate. 5 kilometers or 3.4 miles in the other side of the valley, actually, there is the beginning of the Eurasian tectonic plate.
The Sulfra Fissure sits between these two plates, which move apart at 2.5 centimetres a year. When it formed, glacial meltwater filled the gap. Water that's just 2 degrees above freezing.
I can't believe I'm actively going to go and swim in glacial meltwater. It seemed like a good idea at the time when I was looking it up online, but I'm actually here. I don't know.
You lift it up a bit.
But it's not just me who's a little apprehensive.
Tell me how you ended up here.
Him. We saw a video on YouTube a while ago, last time we came to Iceland, and we thought, that's cool, let's do it.
That is cool, like in both senses.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just seeing the tectonic plates should be quite cool. It's a one-in-a-lifetime experience, I guess. Unless you come again, then it's fine. But,
maybe make that decision after you've been in.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So finally, we start to head in.
Get when you're ready.
All right, that's it. It's time. It's quite difficult walking down these stairs. I can feel the water like squeezing in my suit.
Yes, and now you just come close to me, just lean forward and let the fins go up in the back. Yes, perfect, like that. And you just fly. Do you feel alright? Now we can start to go then.
Oh my god, this water is cold. My face is so numb. It's only been like 10 seconds.
Welcome in Iceland.
And water's already flooding into my gloves. Apparently it's gonna get warmer.
Alright guys, I will move guys in the front of the group and you follow me all the way. Stay there where you are, you're good to go. Everyone, it's okay guys, thumbs up. There we go.
Amazingly, it takes up to 100 years for the water to filter from the nearby glacier and on through volcanic rock to arrive here. And if you think all water is as clear as each other, think again. Here, the underwater visibility can be as much as 100 meters.
So far, so good. My body is completely numb to the cold water. So now all that's left to do is just enjoy the view. It's so clear down here. It's amazing. And the colours totally pop.
So tell me a little bit about what we're seeing down below us.
Yeah, it's all the rock formation. As you can see, it's really, really nice. We have between the two tectonic plates, we have this beautiful color because we have the red algae still growing, and the red carpet algae on the rocks. They look like the jellyfish, red jellyfish.
Yeah.
They are some kind of algae. They can only grow in really cold water, and when we have at least 18-hour daylight. They did the test of the water in Silfra, and this water is actually 30 times clearer than the water you can buy in the supermarket.
No way.
So it's basically just H2O.
I should have brought my water bottle.
Oh yes.
So what do you reckon the temperature of the water is today?
Oh well, at the moment it's pretty chill, but it's around 2-3 degrees Celsius or 36-38 Fahrenheit.
It feels like it's -10.
Yeah, it's pretty cold. It's pretty cold. Yes, yes.
I know the point is to lie on my front looking downwards, but this is actually also very relaxing.
Oh yes, yes.
I feel like a popsicle, and not in a good way. I would definitely do that again. That was amazing.
Well, that's all we've got time for this week, but join us next week when Mike's in the USA to find out why Virginia's Great Dismal Swamp isn't so dismal after all.
This area is home to dark swarms of mosquitoes, blood-sucking ticks, poisonous copperheads and rattlesnakes, and even the occasional black bear.
Well, catch us for that if you can, but until then, from me and the rest of the Travel Show team here in northern Spain, it's goodbye.